and welcome to Jackie's Literary Corner. I am Jackie, and sorry, it is evening as I'm filming. I hadn't filmed in a while. It's been kind of busy, and I haven't really got a chance to film lately, so I've decided to film now because I might not be able to film again until February. I might not be able to film anything, so I don't know if I'll do a wrap up or not. But although I did say I would, so I probably will do a wrap up. So first, I wanted to kind of update you on my reading, and then I have a little bit of a book haul and to show you a new hobby I've gotten into. But anyway, these are the 3 books I'm currently reading at the moment. This is An Echo of Things to Come, the sequel to A Shadow of What Was Lost, so it picks up right where A Shadow of What Was Lost, right after that, when the events of that book. So our characters, all I'm going to say is our characters are separated and going on their own paths and having to deal with whatever's going on their own. And there's some distrust going on, and they're worried about the antagonist that was mentioned in book 1, Talkmar. They're all worried about him returning. So far it's really good. I'm enjoying it. Kaden has a bigger role in this one. We're in his perspective a lot more in this book, so he plays an important role in the story. Again, I'm loving that Ashlea is more important in the book than just the love interest for our hero or stuff like that. Like she has her own story, her own adventure, her own part to play in the story. I really appreciate that. And how it's equal, like it's very equal. All the characters on equal footing, like not just the girl Ash or Davian over the other. They both are equally important and playing a part in the story. I'm also making my way through Damascus Gate. I'm still kind of understanding what's going on. I mean, like I said, I don't know the history at the time, but like it's this journalist, and he's trying to write a book about the events that are going on in Gaza and Palestine and Jerusalem and all that, and trying to write about it, but he's hearing all these multiple perspectives, and all the religions are like the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims are kind of fighting for power in these countries in the Middle East, and he's hearing all these multiple perspectives on it. And he was born in a Jewish family, and I think he's Jewish originally, but he's atheist in the present day, and so he's trying to understand and listen to these perspectives, and he's kind of caught in the middle, and he knows that something's going on, something's happening that's not good, because all these different religions are all at war with each other. And it's very exciting. Like, I like thrillers that I don't know what it is, but something about thrillers that are like this are a little bit more intriguing to me than just like I don't care as much about like the narrator, the drunk, the drunk woman you can't trust, and she got her heart broken by her husband or whatever, or there's like Ruth Ware books. I mean, I like some of them, but I just didn't. I like the ones I read. I thought they were kind of interesting and everything, but I didn't love them. And I like more more plots that feel, at least to me, more complicated. Like this having to do with religion and everything. But and then also I finally decided to pick up The Crusades: Islam and Christianity in the Struggle for World Supremacy by Geoffrey Hinley. And this is obviously before this is kind of more the 21st century, and this is, the medieval medieval period with the Crusades and the Knights Templar and everything. But I've only read the first chapter. I'm on chapter 2 right now, which takes place, which is about, the years 1095 to 1099. And I read the first chapter, but honestly, I don't remember enough to really, I don't know if I could explain it to you guys, talk about what the first chapter talked about. But it was kind of fun. It was kind of interesting that I picked up this one while I was reading this. Like, they reference Damascus in this book, in this history. And this refers to being at the Damascus Gate or something like that. But so that was, I didn't even think about that until after the fact that I did that. So yeah, so that's what I'm currently reading at the moment. Now, before I show you what I recently hauled, let me show you. So the new hobby. So my mom went to go see my sister and spend some time with her right before she left. I asked if we could, go out for breakfast, hang out for the day. So we went to breakfast, and then I was able to I asked her to let me go to BAM. Unfortunately, though, I wasn't there an hour early before it opened because, it was on a Sunday, and on Sundays, it opens in the afternoon. And I get why. I understand why it opens in the afternoon, like, especially because they were probably, the people that work there probably go to church. Probably not all of them, not all the workers, but anyway, so I understand why. It was just kind of annoying that I get there and then I remember, oh wait, it's not open yet. And, because I have to rely on, a ride from my parents or Uber if it's available, it's kind of annoying because, of course, my mom doesn't want to, she was going to, go to Belk's or something, and she didn't want to have to wait another hour to pick me up, so it did work out, so, and then we also, which I will talk about that visit in a minute, but also, after we went to BAM, Michael's is right next door to BAM, and I ended up and I saw diamond painting, which I had heard about that from a coworker and on social media, but I wasn't sure if I could do it. I did like what my coworker showed me. She makes coasters from one of her Harry Potter related coasters, and so I had thought about it, and then I saw them at Michael's. I was like, let me at least try it, just buy one kit. So I bought it, and my mom even thought about introducing it to my grandma because it was like to give her another hobby or something to do. But I don't think she was really, I don't know if she will be able to or she'll get into it like I am. Because I can understand why for some people it can seem kind of tedious. And it's a lot because you have to get the beads on one particular spot on a certain, number, and it can be very confusing, and her eyes might, she might have trouble seeing it and stuff like that, but, so this is the one I got for me, and they did have, things like Starry Night and the Mona Lisa and everything, and I thought about that, but I decided to go with this little fantasy image, because I used to love unicorns growing up. That's what I've done so far. And for my grandma, my mom got me the ones with the individual little pictures. She got her those. So I don't know if she's going to, introduce her to that or not. But anyway, so this is what mine is. And it's fun. It takes a lot of patience and a lot of time. And like I said, it's, the whole thing is very sticky. So the little beads will stick on there, and they do tell you don't open up the whole plastic, just open up the part you're working on. And so my sweater that I was wearing getting stuck to the picture. And then also, if you don't get the bead on the right spot, it's hard to move it because it's so sticky. So yeah, there are some things about it that are a little, like I said, I can see where it can seem a little tedious, but I'm having fun. I'm enjoying it so far. And it's one of those, like, I wanted to get into it because, I figured it will give me something else to do, not just reading, but, like, if I'm at the house or whatever, so I won't be tempted to, like, oh, let me just walk to the bookstore and buy more books. Because, like, I've been hesitant to go to the library lately because I'm trying to read all the books I own, but the problem is that I buy more books before I can really put a dent in buying all the books I own. Because if I borrow a book from the library, that's getting my priority to finish that one. I have been using the Libby. I started using the Libby app again, so that gets me into reading, so that's still using the library. It's just not physically going to the library. So I thought, get into a hobby that, yeah, I'm still spending money, but it has nothing to do with books. So it won't mess with my book buying budget I've set for myself. And it's fun. I'm liking it so far. It'll be, give me something to do. I mean, like I tried coloring and that did not work. I mean, I still like coloring, but I'm also a bit of a perfectionist when it comes to coloring. So, anyway. Let's show you what I've recently bought. So first, I'll go and show you what I got at BAM. So, the only thing I was concerned about in going to BAM is because I knew what I wanted to get. It was a particular edition of a certain fantasy book that I've only ever seen mass market copies at Books A Million. So it was like, and they finally started selling this edition of the book. So I was like, I better grab it before it disappears, before they don't have it anymore. Now I think there's more of a chance of it being there than, like, let's say at Thrift Books. Because at Thrift Books, popular books will be snatched up really quickly, while at Books A Million, they will have more copies coming in. Hopefully. So that is Mad Ship. I already have Ship of Magic, and I did start reading that one. And then, unfortunately, because I was trying to just get the one book for myself, it was, I ended up just getting this one. But my only thing is, my mom was not going to come back and wait, like, she was not going to wait around another hour. So, and I was worried about, like, getting there and then picking up the book, but then having to kill time by browsing, which nothing's wrong with that. It's just I wanted to make sure I stuck with just getting this book instead of trying to buy other books, especially because I'm still trying to stick to my budget. So I ended up, but we ended up, after I got picked, was walking around, my mom came in. And she was looking, like, so she was looking for stuff to give the kids for their Valentine's Day little packages. I don't know if she got Charlie Girl a book, but she did get both Daniel and Harrison books. She got Daniel Star Wars, along with a Star Wars bookmark. And then she got Harrison Pokemon bookmark, which I'm really excited that he's into. I mean, I never got into Pokemon, but it was kind of cool. It's something that I'm familiar with, and it was coming out in the US around the, when I was growing up, so I was kind of, so even the way I didn't get into it was still kind of cool that he's now into it. And then, we also got him the Spiderwick Chronicles. I picked up the Spiderwick Chronicles, the first book in the series, because I want him to get into some of the popular middle grade elementary school fantasy series. I've been trying to introduce him to those, but I don't know what his level of reading skills is. I mean, my sister does read him Harry Potter, but he's not at the age where he can read it by himself, because those books are huge. I mean, the first 3 books aren't that long, but as the series, you guys know that as the series progresses, it gets longer and longer. So I've been trying to figure out it's hard to determine what he's able to read. And I don't know, my sister's read these books, so I can't really ask her. I don't know, because she might not necessarily know. So we got him those. Now, I did get one other thing for myself that was not a book. So it doesn't count my book budget, but that is Ravenclaw socks, because I have knee-high Ravenclaw socks and then footy Ravenclaw socks. But the footy socks don't always stay on, especially the longer you have them. They just eventually start to where they don't stay on your feet if you've had them long enough. And then I just don't love knee-high socks because they irritate where my knee and ankle area is. Like they kind of scratch it a little bit. So, and I have some knee-high socks that I'm gonna get rid of. I'm thinking about getting rid of. So I've been wanting regular size socks of, my Hogwarts house. So I got those. And if they had Harrison size, my mom would have got Harrison some. Now they are thick socks, so they're more winter socks than spring socks. But, yeah, I got those. I did not grab those, though. I totally forgot to grab those. Okay, so I gotta get back to Mad Ship. I gotta read that one. But yeah, so there's Ship of Magic. So there's that one. Now let's see. Let me show you what I got at the roast office during my last visit. So first, I got a book that's not in my usual type of books. But I thought I would try it out. And I only spend like $12 at the roast office. And each of these books is $4. So it's not that much. But I got this. I ended up picking up this one. I think it was probably inspired by the Damascus Gate a little bit. It's also in the Middle East. Not Middle East. It's in Russia, actually. And, again, this is a journalist. And the journalist is, sorry, I'm looking at the back, because I don't remember. The journalist is looking at the story of this woman, Darina, and wants to do a documentary about her. So it's one of those, I think, where it goes back in time where we hear her story and then all the other, like a multi-generational thing. But I thought it sounded interesting, and it is a translated work. So I thought I'd try it. I also like the pink cover. I love the cover and the design, and then I think it's interesting this, all these different little things, little objects that were probably important to the different generations and, buried in dirt. I think that's an interesting cover concept. But, yeah, I thought I would try this. And then we have, so this is actually a series that I already have. So, A Dance with Dragons is the 5th book in A Song of Ice and Fire series. I have the first 4 books, and I've been meaning to. I'm trying to collect all of them in this edition, with the exception of my copy of book 3 is in an older edition, but it's still this size. So I got it off of Thrift Books. So I've been kind of slowly getting these versions. And I think that's probably, that's kind of why I'm not as bothered by that the next 2 books are not out yet. Because I'm behind in reading the series anyway, so I have that, I've been reading, I've read book 1 twice now, and I'm in the middle of book 2 right now, my second reread of book 2, because I've read up to halfway through book 3, and then I stopped, and took a long break, and then, I decided, let me come back to it and read it from the beginning. So, and so I saw this, and I saw books 3 and 4 there as well, But I was like, I already have book 3. It's just an old cover, and it's kind of a cute cover, very 80s 90s cover, and so but yeah, so I got that. So I have these 2, and then the last book is a nonfiction, Nicholas and Alexandra, the classic account of the fall of the Romanov dynasty by Robert K. Massey, which I have heard the name before, this writer's name before. So and I'm trying to think, I have heard other people recommend, and I think I've heard other people on BookTube recommending this book, or at least saying that they've read it. Probably people like Steve Donahue. So I saw this and I thought, let me check it out. And I think it's the Romanovs line, and looking at their history of them and what led to eventually their downfall. And, what happened with their son and his hemophilia. And, so I thought I would try it. I do have the Anastasia, the Lost Russian Princess book, but it's in hardback, so I don't know if I'm keeping it or not. It is in the pile over there, my donation pile, so I might keep it, or one day buy a mass market version of that. But anyway, so those are 3 of my most recent purchases. Trying to think, did I show you guys my last? I think I did. I think I did. So I think I showed you guys, right? Let me go ahead and, just in case, let me just show you the other books before this shopping trip that I bought. I also, my last time before yesterday's visit, these are the books I bought the visit before yesterday. Because first was The American Brutus, a book about John Wilkes Booth and the Lincoln conspiracies. I did attempt to read Booth, which was about John Wilkes Booth and his family. I did attempt to read that book. I had got it from the library, so who knows? Maybe if they have a paperback version that I see at the post office, I might buy it and give it another shot. Like I said, it might have been having something to do with it was from the library, so there was all this pressure to get it read and everything, and I just wasn't feeling it at the time. But as the subtitle says, it's about John Wilkes Booth and the Lincoln conspiracies. He is the actor who shot Lincoln when they were at Fort. Him and Mary Todd were at the Ford Theater. He shot Lincoln in the head, and then he runs and ends up at Dr. Mudd's house because he breaks his leg. He ends up falling off the balcony. That they were in one of those balcony seats, their own private little area, and he ends up falling, and John Wilkes Booth shoots him, and then he escapes and jumps off and breaks his leg. So he goes to Dr. Mudd's house, and then he goes to Mary Surratt's boarding house, and both of them get in trouble and arrested for work of helping Booth. And so we and John Wilkes Booth was a famous actor and everything, and it was just and he generally thought Lincoln was not very good for the country. So I got that. And then I also I got another Joyce Carol Oates book. I have got to pick up a Joyce Carol Oates book because I keep buying them and then sending them away. So I have to pick up one and actually read it for once. So, Blonde. I have Blonde, which is it's kind of a, let me see, a reimagining of the life of Norma Jean Baker, aka Marilyn Monroe, and what her origins. But like it's an reimagined take on Marilyn Monroe in her life. So I got to finally read a Joyce Carol Oates book because I keep buying them at the roast office, or I should say the Given bookshop, and then I end up returning them and deciding I'm not interested anymore. So I'm going to read this one and actually read it. Okay, so next is the Folk Cons. This is where I think I might have, because I think I remember talking to you guys about this book. And mentioning it in a book haul. I think I have already talked about this, so I apologize, but maybe I can get better information. But this is it Vikings? The Vikings by Emmy Javits. This actually is also nonfiction, I think, which I did not realize that. It takes place, I think, in Sweden. A family in Norway. Swedish and Danish thrones. So it's, damn it. So I think it's kind of the same time period as Bernard Cornwell's The Saxon series, but it's from the Dane perspective. So I think this is based on a real family, but it's told like a story, like a narrative. So I'm gonna try. So I'm going to read this at some point. I don't know when, like maybe after I read Bernard Cornwell series and then pick up this one. Okay, and then I don't know if I got all these books at the same time or not. And then at some point I also got this. A Dance to the Music and Time by Anthony Powell, the first movement. This is one of those ones that I've heard about in other booktubers that talk about wanting to read. I want to say I've heard it from, was it Caroline Marie Reeds or someone like that, where they talk about this book. You have a group of friends. It's set in the 1920s, like Blonde. And the narrator is a budding writer. One of the characters is a womanizer. And it's kind of takes place during the in-between time of the wars, apparently. But yeah, so it's kind of interesting, and like I said, I like that it's in the 1920s, and I also find it interesting that it's between the wars, like, because you have these stories that take place during the wars. There's like a lot of books about during the war. And then I think there's books about after the war, but there's no that in-between period. I mean, although there might have been a little bit of that with Fitzgerald. Like some of his short stories might have taken place before the wars, before World War One. Some of his stories. But anyway, yeah, so now there's probably going to be elements of it that as a female reader I'm not going to love, because our main characters are males, and one is it does say in the back description that one of them is a womanizer. And one of the guys is a Templar. And one of them is kind of an aristocrat and reckless. You know when I'm reading this, you know what I'm gonna be picturing? I'm probably gonna be picturing Rory's boyfriends from Rory from Gilmore Girls, and her boyfriends Dean, Logan, and Jess, and maybe Marty. Marty might be on there too, because right now I'm kind of all about Gilmore Girls, so I feel like when I'm reading this, I'll be picturing those guys when I'm reading this, which although I wonder, I was thinking maybe you'll disagree, but But anyway, so I might pick this up now. Although this is the first volume, so there's probably more. But anyway, so yeah, so I apologize if I've already shared those with you guys, but maybe this maybe this is a better discussion on what those books are about, like why I picked them up. Because I vaguely recall talking about those books, but like I don't know if I've just practiced talking about them or I talked about them in a video already for you guys, and then I feel like I was tired because I feel like I either need to film in the evening or in the early morning. Like when I get home from work in the evening, I have all this because I'm excited to be home. I get this little buzz of energy. So that could also be a good time so maybe that would be a good time. Maybe this is a good time for me to film. And then in the early morning, you know, I just had my cup of coffee, so I have that little bit of energy. Like the afternoon, I think is the worst time to film, but sometimes I film because I just got home from, you know, going book shopping or something. Anyway, so again, sorry if I've already talked about those books that but maybe I have given a better description of what those books are about. So if you guys like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. Click subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell notification button below if you want to be notified when I upload videos. I probably won't be uploading again until February. We will see. But I will talk to you all later. All right. Bye.